but also that page with interior designers,
Hmm.
you can scroll through, I think,
Expensive.
probably of those
It is
designers.
very
Yeah, it's very
expensive.
expensive, and all you're seeing on that page are the faces of the
Yeah.
designers and their names. No one is able to pick a designer based on just an image, right? Just one
Yeah. You'd have to
picture and
sit
the
there and
name.
read and watch hundreds of videos.
Well, how would you formulate the problem? Because you spoke to the
Yeah.
company. It's a family-run
Yeah.
business, as I
Yeah.
understand. It's the largest furniture store
In the
in the
world.
world?
In the world.
That's
And
crazy.
I've been quite a few times, and it is wild. I mean, yeah, it's like 1.3 million square feet of space. And that's just the showrooms. That's not even including their warehousing and, logistics and operations and everything.
Mhm.
It's almost a 100-acre campus. It is massive. The nice thing I like about Furnitureland South is they have a lot of stuff that you wouldn't generally find somewhere else. There's a lot of really unique and kind of boutique
Hmm.
furniture there that is pretty awesome to see and be able to experience.
Like a bed that would catapult you and
It
out of the window if someone's snoring.
Not that I've seen, but also I still haven't toured the whole thing. I mean, I've been a couple different days, and plus it's always circulating, with new models and everything else.
Yeah.
And from furniture market to furniture market, I haven't been able to get enough days in there to actually see everything in its cohesivity or whatever that word would be. All of it together, I have not been able to see it all yet. So, I mean, it is just insane.
When you talked about this, the store and this company, it was full of warm memories and conversations, great conversations that you had with the
Yeah.
company. What specific problem did they voice they had and or that you noticed they had? It seems like running your business in 2025 off of a huge physically existing warehouse
Yeah.
limits your access to the larger market.
A lot of people who prefer to shop in stores, number one, they're going to be very localized. I think Furnitureland really targets people within kind of a 200-mile radius, which they have a
Mhm.
lot of people there, right? I
Yeah.
mean, Central North Carolina, they're in High Point, which not only are they the largest furniture store in the world, but High Point is the furniture capital of the world. So there's a lot going on there. But we always need to think ahead, right? We always need to innovate and develop as a business. Gen Z and a lot of millennials even prefer to have some level of digital options. Now, Furnitureland South does have a great website. They have really developed in certain ways. All of their designers have video introductions there, so you can really get to meet your design team. They have walkthroughs. They've had some things over the years that I'm not really quite sure what happened to. They had a thing called Furnitureland Virtual, I believe is what it was called. I don't really know if that's still available. I haven't been able to find it recently, but where it was kind of like a walkthrough of some of their bigger showrooms. I'm sure that was relatively hard to deal with because of the changing nature of showrooms. So I started looking at companies that are doing it right, which is a very few and far between list. I'll be honest with you, the only one that I really took much stock in, they do a lot of things well, is IKEA. They have an application called IKEA Creative.
Sure.
Their creative program and some of their virtual reality and augmented reality options are next level. I have not seen anything in the furniture market that even comes close to this. And I think working with artificial intelligence and what we can do here at Techery to help combine those sort of things. Basically, they augment reality in their own homes. They can also do virtual reality. We could do it based on home plans or something like that, where it's a really immersive experience. Even when customers go to Furnitureland South, they're not necessarily standing in their own living room watching all this stuff come up to be able to really visualize. It's a next level of visualization opportunity for them to see this is
Mhm.
exactly what this would look like that you've designed for me. And I think that goes a long way to showing customers, number one, we are on bleeding edge of technology here at Furnitureland South. We want you to have the best experience possible because we want you to not only believe us when we tell you this is going to look good and look at all of our mock-ups, but really be able to stand in kind of an immersive experience and see, does this feel like home to you? And, you can be in virtual reality and augmented reality space wherever you are.
One thing that struck me, I remember when I went to their website, was that it felt outdated, first of all, for a modern day company, but also that page with interior designers,
Mhm.
it was really something. You can scroll through I think
Expensive.
probably of those
It is
designers.
very
Yeah, it's very
expensive.
expensive, and all you're seeing on that page are the faces of the
Yeah.
designers and their names. No one is able to pick a designer based on just an image, right? Just one
Yeah, you'd have to
picture
sit
and the
there and
name.
read and watch hundreds of videos.
By fixing that, obviously, we're talking about AI again here. When we first talked about this, remember, we envisioned that not replacing those people actually, but if they're really good at their job, they should have their distinctive
Their
differences
niche.
in their style, in
Yeah,
their approach, their
absolutely.
niches, right? So digitizing their approach
Yeah,
and making it available to people through AI
yep.
interface when they can just stay in their home, but like pick, you know how in today's update of ChatGPT, you can just switch through different
Right.
modes of voice. Same kind of thing here when you can switch through different designers, their digital presence, their
Yeah,
digital copies basically inside the app. And based on who you pick, the AI will help you design your home using all those tricks and, special features of that designer's approach. So that eventually, if you're good with that, then you can send this to that designer and help the designer polish that for you. And you can talk back and forth. That's the thing. Like, no, I actually don't like that table in that corner. I want that. How big is that table? Oh, I actually want that table there because, I have kids here. They
yeah,
might, bump their heads against the sharp corners or whatever. So, all those things AI is able to do now. But I think most people would love to use a designer, but they're intimidated by two things. First, it's just the ease of entry is
yeah,
not there because you have no way to know who you're talking to until that designer starts working on your project. It's just like with psychotherapy. You don't know if the person is good until you spend some time with the
right,
person. And
right.
then you realize, yeah, probably not
Not the
not a
best
good
fit.
match for me. Same
Right.
here. Like with interior designers, you shouldn't really be guessing, but also you have no easy way of entry, meaning that you have no good way to evaluate if that designer is good for you or not
Right.
until the designer actually starts working with you. But you're already probably spending money. And again, that's the second thing that people probably are afraid of is that it's going to cost a lot. It's going to add to the overall cost of the
Yeah,
project. How much does it cost you? You don't know. With AI interface, the store could kill two birds with one stone here. The ease of entry is super easy.
yeah,
Obviously, it's just an app and a not intimidating AI. And then the second thing is that AI can do the whole pre-sale process and show value already.
right.
And then when you have that value, it's like, on the car manufacturing websites when you can build your own car and if you build it right, you've just spent all that time, you've already fallen in love with it, and now you want it built that
Right.
way. It's the same thing like
Well,
pre-sale is done by AI and then the designer or the store just goes in for the
right.
closure.
Well,
That's
and
it.
the other cool thing too there, not even just from that perspective, is the data that you're getting from that. That's a major benefit that a lot of people forget about or just don't think about. When you have somebody on your website and they're clicking through, well, I want more of a coastal theme, and I really like these 3 manufacturers' designs kind of the best. It helps you really figure out what your customers and what your base is really liking currently, so that you can track that in real time. So that's definitely a part of it too.
I think there's a huge opportunity here for technology to optimize
Yeah,
pre-qualification of a sale. Basically, asking all the questions that a designer or the store manager or store clerk or
sure.
whoever would be asking those people when they're on their website or on their app. Even in their store, introducing those QR codes that would pull the app up
Right.
and you can do this because I can imagine that if it's such a huge store, they probably have a lot of employees, but how easy is it to find someone to help you? When I lived in Texas, we had this Nebraska furniture, huge furniture mall. And when we were buying our bed for the bedroom, I remember that I had to chase the guy down for like 15 minutes probably because every time I bumped into someone from the employees, it was not the right person. They said, you need to find John.
Right.
And then I go and look for John. So obviously that process was cumbersome and was not optimized for my ease of use. Well, technology can help here. It's just like with CVS, we have those buttons, that you can
Right.
ring
Yeah.
and they will
Call
open it
for
up for you.
service.
But I mean, that's very old school and
Yeah.
kind of rugged way of doing this. With a more sophisticated, smooth technology. You can do a lot of that stuff before the person even is needed
Right.
for your situation. AI is that employee basically right in your pocket, right? That is available to you all the time, that can
Yeah.
answer any questions and can, I mean, will probably be even more qualified in some cases than a human employee.
Yeah.
But we're talking about growth for this company. When we're talking about online for Gen Z, millennials, and well, new generations, it has to be different as well.
Hmm.
And that's when what you said initially, augmented reality, virtual reality through AI would definitely make sense. Or for those people who want to buy from the store, but they need that interior design project,
Yeah.
well, obviously what they have right now on the website is not going to help.
Right.
But with AI that replicates the style and knows and represents basically that designer, it is super solvable and it could do all the pre-qualification for the sale
Hmm.
before the store even knows it. And then at the same time, the store and the designer will be notified, hey, there are two people that are playing with your AI
Right.
right now. Do you want to jump into the conversation and talk to them there, or just be a fly on the wall and see what's
Exactly.
happening so that you could
Well,
steer it in the right direction? So stuff like
yeah.
that, it's like the world is changing. All those things are already possible, and they're possible to be implemented in a very high quality way.
Yeah. And it makes the experience exciting. I'm not even in the market for furniture right now. You can bet I still
Mhm.
spent a couple hours playing around with that tool, just designing, whatever I wanted for my space, just because it was kind of cool to do. Like I said, I'm not in the market for new furniture right now, but it certainly made me think about, oh, I could use a new TV stand, stuff like that. So, I mean, it's definitely worth it.
When you actually think about the experience, even on the website, especially when you're in the store, like I remember my experience in Nebraska or IKEA, is when you find things that you like, but you're still 10% into the store, you're taking pictures
Oh,
of
yes.
the
I
names
have
on the
hundreds of
coat.
pictures of tags from Furnitureland
Right,
South.
exactly. And then, like, when you're actually in the delivery section, then you have to
Right.
look through all those pictures to find the right one. That obviously shows you that this process also needs to be optimized and
Yeah.
automated, because with AI, now video AI, because AI now can access your video stream, it is super possible for you to just talk
Right.
to your AI assistant by the store. Hey, I like this one. Oh, yeah, great. I'll save it for you. And then what was that bad that I looked at 30 minutes ago or 3 hours ago? Oh, this one or that one? Oh, that one. Yeah. Okay. Well, that one will probably not fit into that room that we talked about before because that room is too small, but this one will. I can guide you there with indoor navigation. If you want to take a look at it, we actually have the last one in stock and it's right there, aisle 17, whatever. It's only going to take you 2 minutes.
I
Just go
mean,
there.
that
This kind of personalized assistance and helping people choose and pick the right things, this is priceless because no human will be able to do that, especially in the store because they're shorthanded. If you have a lot of people or like Christmas sale or whatever, it's impossible to spend so much time with your customer. You would have to spend all 3 hours with a person
yeah,
walking down the store,
yeah.
but AI can do it.
And the other thing too is, it can optimize because like I said, I'm taking hundreds of pictures of tags so I can refer back to what was this tag again, It can take all that information and optimize it to say, well, we think that these specific items would make the most cohesive package for this room. It can take all that information and kind of put together a little bit of a base level build for you, like you said.
Yeah, also think about this scenario when you actually take a video tour of your house right now, and AI understands what style you're
Right.
into.
Yep.
So we would not be pushing some modern style your way if obviously you love curtains and
Mhm.
some 17th century
Yeah.
Paris palace.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make any sense to push that to you because it already knows you. That's the thing. It knows you better than a human who you would see on the floor who would start asking you all the basic questions, or the interior designer who's somewhere there in the office when you have to actually make the decision to, oh, yeah, probably need an interior designer. But here, you don't have to make the decision. It's already made for you. It's right here. Just start,
Mhm.
right? Press this button and you're in. I think that's huge for a company like that. And it could totally move the needle like at least 20-30% ARR, because we've seen this before. And I'm actually seeing more and more requests for quotes from construction companies trying to implement a feature that would include AI and interior virtual reality and
Yep.
augmented reality scenario. So I think it's happening. Obviously, it's a trend. So I would urge this company to look into it.